Hi, I'm Kurt Martin, and welcome to Hagerman's Academy of Agriculture and Food Science. Today we're going to flay out a sturgeon. This is not a lot of people get the opportunity to do this, but I wanted to show you how this was done. It's really easy, actually, and the biggest secret to doing this, to get your best yield, is to make sure that the blade is constantly touching bone. If it's not, you're losing meat. And when we do these, actually, it's interesting, you only yield about 24% of the meat because of the big head, the hide is real heavy, and then you have to clean off all of the red that is on either side of the lateral line, and what that is the fat, and it tastes a little stronger. So we'll take that off later. But you start at the tail, and you just come underneath the fin, okay? And I stay close to the top here, and there's little bumps on here, kind of like a scale, and I'll stay just under those and stay on top of the spine, okay? And I'll come up to the head, all right? And I'll come right to there, and I'll just cut that off. And sometimes I have to kind of chop at it a little bit, okay? And now I've exposed the top of it. I can cut the tail off at this point. Actually, I should have taken this fin off before I cut off the tail, but I'll make it work, okay? And cutting that bottom fin off lets it to lay down, okay? And I'll come up. The meat actually goes farther than that last scale. It kind of comes around right there. I don't want to lose any of it. So I'll take the knife and I'll come on one side of the spine, but I'll make sure this tip is touching the spine itself. And I'll just go down to where that backbone is, okay? And I'll keep that blade turned towards the spine. Cut around that fin a little bit, and when I get down to the tail piece, it doesn't go down very far, and the tip, you can feel the spine, okay? And I'll do the same. Now in this case, I've turned the blade towards the spine again, okay? And I'll come down to the tail, and I use my fingers to open up that meat, okay? And I'll cut around here, and I tip that blade towards the head so I don't lose any meat, and I'll cut around the gill plate, and I'll come right down to the other fin. And I won't stick the blade in very far, just enough to, okay, see there, and I'm staying close to that gill plate, and I can feel it right here, and the blade is tipped in, and I'll cut down to the fin there. Now, I'll push this out with my thumb and kind of reach the blade in there, because the rib cage flares out like this, and then it narrows as it comes back. And I want that tip of that blade to touch those ribs, okay? And then I'll work around the ribs, but that blade is turned towards the ribs constantly, okay? And I'll come back down to here. Now when I get to here, all I have to do is go around the spine itself, because the ribs stop right here, and I don't want to lose any meat. So I'll take it in little pieces, little cuts. I'll go down to there. Now to keep it balanced out, before I go farther, I'll come up here and do this side, do the same thing, okay? Here we go. Come around those ribs, and we'll just move it on out. See, it comes right around, but you can see you're constantly looking, you can see the bones. That way we know we're not losing any meat, okay? And there, in that case, I had to come back around just a bit because I got under a few ribs. Now here, I'll just go right around the spine, come down to the tail, okay, and now I go completely around until I come to the bottom, okay, till I touch the board. Okay, and I'll come up here and do the same thing on this side. It actually goes pretty fast, but you don't want to go fast. You just take your time, make little cuts, make sure that knife is constantly touching bone. Okay, here we go. We cut down to there. I'll do the same thing again here. So you kind of work back and forth on either side, and just to keep that balanced out. Otherwise the fish will flop over. Okay, and now I'll kind of go around the rib cage, okay, until I get to the stomach cavity. All right, here we go. I'll cut down to there, and I'll do now the same on the other side. And as you can see, I've got my blade really turned in now on this side. Here we go. Okay, then when I get to here, I'll come open up the stomach cavity, and I'll just kind of cut that membrane back to there, and I'll come up here, and I'll stay kind of on the high side, and I'll do the same here. Okay, all right. Now I'll just cut down. I'll go into the stomach cavity here because there's good meat right here. I don't want to lose it. And so now I just pull the skeleton back a little bit, and I'll cut down to there, and I'll kind of come up kind of on the high side there, and I'll do the same here. I'll move everything out of the way, and we'll come back to here. All right, and so I won't cut into any of the contents of the stomach, and we'll show you those here in a minute. Okay, get that up there. There's actually some scales on the bottom side that make it kind of tough to get through, and I just happen to land right on them, so I'm going to have to kind of go around them. Okay, now what I'll do is I'm going to tip the fish up like this so I can cut and catch that bottom piece and cut that fillet off. There we go, there's that one. I'll flip it over. I'll do the same on this side because I just don't want to lose any meat. And I'm just being real careful I don't cut into any of the stomach or contents inside the sturgeon. Well, I landed right on those scales. There we go. And that's it. These two fillets have been cut loose. There's one there, and then there's one on the other side. So there's a fin right here. So I'll just pull that up, and I'm going to cut around it. Okay? Because there's cartilage that goes inside the meat right here. See, and then it just takes out that little piece. So I'll do the same here on this side. Okay. And there you go. There's a 25. There's a big chunk of the fish right there, but you don't cut into any of the insides. If I tip this up, I can show you. There's the liver right here, and then this is the stomach. Yep, and the heart is up here. But I don't want to break open any of that stuff. Okay. All right, now I'm going to show you how to take the hide off of it. Okay. Oh, please do. Please do, if you guys would. You kind of clean up what you can. Oh, here you go. And being silly there. Okay. what I do is I'll move this one out of the way over here. I'll turn the fillet around, and I always work from the tail this way, okay? Let me clean this off of here. There you go, hang on to that way. And I'm using now if this was a boning knife in this case, all right? And now this one it's a fillet knife, okay? And I'll come down here and I'll take just a little piece there, and I'll turn the blade, and I'll just wiggle it till I get it up to a certain point. Now I'll just take and I'll cut a hole that I can put my finger in, okay, to hang on to that hide. All right, and then I keep the knife pressed down so it's on the board, and I'll just wiggle it. If you'd move your hands away from there, it'd be good. Okay, and I just wiggle the hide basically, and I'll just work that back and forth. Actually, I think I slid under the hide at one point. Yep, I did. There we go. Yep, I missed a piece. And it's real easy to take this hide off of it, but you know, and here you go. All right, and yep, I did, but that's okay. And then from here you do the cleanup, and I'll take it off any of the fat. I'll take off. I'll come back here and take off any of the belly fat that was there and membrane. And this was the stomach cavity right here. And I'll come trim that off of it. Here we go. And I'll show you in a second after I get this off. Membrane there. Cool. Now this is what I was talking about. This is the fat on the lateral line right here. All of that red meat has to come off of it. So I'll kind of dip down a little bit and take it off just like so. All right. So you can see it's not real difficult to do this. It's just a method, and once you've done it, it's not a problem whatsoever. Okay, when I get down to here, I get my thumb out of the way. Okay. And once I get down to here, I can take and kind of push the meat together and just real gently work my way down to the tail. Okay, I'll miss a little piece there. Take that right there. And that right there. So that's it. You've got a clean fillet. So you can see it's really not that difficult. And then from here, we would portion it up to whatever size portions we want. And depends on what we're going to do with it. You can, and it's so versatile. You grill it, pan fry it, bread it. It's very versatile. It's a firm textured fish, kind of like halibut. And it's very nice. The reason, the quality here in Idaho, it's because of the water. We have aquifer water that these are raised in. The caviar rivals, even the Russian caviar, which is pretty amazing. And the chefs just love working with this fish. So there you go. That's all there is to it. And now we'll just portion it up, and smoked sturgeon's incredible also, so I know that some of this is going to make it to the smoker. So thank you for being with us today, and we'll see you next time.